Hello, I'm George Gibbs, and in April of 1853 I was living in Astoria, in the Oregon Territory, while my brother Dr. Wolcott Gibbs was living in New York and working in the scientific community there. Wolcott had recently married Josephine Mauran, and my family had written to inform me that he was now the first among us to leave the ranks of bachelors. Josephine was well regarded in our family, and although Wolcott and Josephine would later have no children of their own, she became an important part of his domestic and social life in New York. The letter you are about to hear was written on April 13th, 1853, and reflects the mixture of family news, government affairs, scientific work, and personal observations that characterized much of my correspondence during those years. Astoria, OT, April 13th, 1853. Dear Wolcott, the Columbia brought me your letter, as well as Mother and Laura's joint epistle, the former officially announcing that you were to be the first of the 4 off the bachelor's list. I can congratulate you sincerely, for I like Josephine very much. I have a good enough opinion of her to believe that she can content herself with far less than she has been accustomed to. There is spice enough in her to keep you alive when a soberer specimen of formality would have allowed you to subside into foggyism. I have written to her by this mail and beg you to apologize for the yellow envelope, as the Custom House affords no more suitable covering for this sort of correspondence, which in fact Uncle Sam probably did not contemplate. Today is the fateful one for the Whig office holders, and I suppose there are long faces enough in Washington, but I do not anticipate so sudden an outturn for myself as old Adair indulged in when he went away, still less that he will be reinstated. It may be that my friends may succeed in keeping me in. There will be a strong army influence exerted, I think. However, be the result as it may, I shall not disquiet myself, and if the new mines in eastern Oregon turn out as good as they promise, they may trot out my successor whenever they please. You will already have heard that I procured bonds here without difficulty, but as the comptroller desired that if any were executed in the States, they should be substituted, I shall forward the new ones when they come and let them take their choice. If they remove me, they will probably make no change. Shell and I were good friends, but whether he will interfere, I don't know. I told you that I regretted that Schoolcraft had put my notes in such a shape, as they were too slight for it, and my opportunities last summer enabled me to correct them materially. However, it is now too late, but I am putting them into the form of a general view, which I will forward when completed. Send me the books when you get them, at any rate the one containing the notes by express, and the others when some opportunity occurs. I wrote to him to send me a few copies of the map. I think you had better ask Costin what links will be required to fill out the chain of claims in his hands. Perhaps other papers may be accessible, and it is probable that old accounts and books of the house are in the hands of the Channing heirs. Ascertain what is the total amount for which we claim. I am glad Mother has found material for a pretty muff out of the Indian fixings, but can't imagine what has become of the sea otter skin, which would have made 2 or 3. However, I shall be able to pick up something here in the future, but that skin was a beauty. Keep all the bows and arrows and other such traps that you get, as by and by I mean to have a little museum of them. I must hold off now, as I shall write to the Duchess by this mail. Love to all, as usual. George. This letter offers a clear picture of the concerns that occupied me at the time. Family marriages, political appointments, administrative bonds, the publication of my notes by Henry Schoolcraft, and the ethnological collections that would later contribute to my scientific work in the Pacific Northwest. If you would like to read this letter in full, along with others from my papers, I invite you to visit alfredgibbs.com. where it is titled George Gibbs to Wolcott Gibbs, Astoria, OT, April 13th, 1853.